Welcome back to another edition of OCG Thursday, where we psychoanalyze the OCG and we cry to things that we actually can't have in the TCG, because that's just how it be some days. So, the OCG is back at it again with, today we're going to be looking at what? Endymion, Marincess, and the Nekroz deck that you see on the screen. Now, the interesting thing about this Nekroz deck, the OCG still has the Djinn releaser of rituals. Now remember, TCG doesn't get to fully experience the beauty of this card because, you know, being able to drop a Nekroz monster on the field, that stops you from being able to special summon. Is a little bit too brutal for our game. Also, our Nekroz format, we totally ruined this card's existence for ourselves. So, there's that. Also, quick interesting thing here. The fact that they're packing in Onimaru as their 12-star target made me a little bit happy. So that was kind of cool to see. Also, Mr. Ultimaya Tzolk'in. This card's original level is always treated as 12. More huge Nekroz targets, by the way. So, I don't know. It's the little things like this that make me smile. So, we have one copy of Armageddon Night, 2 copies of Ash Blossom in Joyous Spring, triple copies of that Djinn, the releaser of rituals. When you would ritual summon, you banish this card from your graveyard as one of the monsters required for the ritual summon. If a player ritual summons using this card, the other player cannot special summon while that ritual monster is face up on the field. I love conditions, don't you guys? They're so good. We have triple copies of Maju. We have one copy of Mathematician. Being able to just drop the Djinn in the graveyard is really good. We have triple copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma. We've definitely seen just Gamma having a massive uprise in terms of rogue strategies. One cool thing I will say about Gamma, though, in a deck like this, is if you resolve the Lambda and then you start sticking things like this on the field, your opponent tries to out your monster through a monster effect, you have Gamma online just at all points. Like, it's kind of cute. We have one Sangam, one Shrit, one copy of Tour Guide, one Psyframe Driver, triple copies of Nekroz of Brionic, triple copies of the Nekroz of Colossus, 2 Nekroz of Trishula, 1 Nekroz Unicorn, 1 Valkyrius, of course. Then we have 1 copy of Foolish Bro, 2 copies of Cycle. I love the fact that the OCG even has Cycle limited to 2. At what point was this too good to, you know, have been restricted? I don't know. We have 1 Kaleido, 2 copies of Mir, triple copies of Pot of Extravagance, triple copies of Preparation of Rites, and then 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, wrapping up the main deck here. Outside of a few key things here, the Nekroz deck in Japan it's still pretty much the same floating core, you know, plus 99% more Djinn. The extra deck down here, we have 1 El Mirage, 1, 2, 3 copies of Lambda. Like I said, resolving that key Lambda and making sure that you're able to resolve Gammas on the defense, like, this is really good. 1 copy Phoenix, 1 Baguski, 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Dweller, 1 Ultimaya Tzolk'in, 1 Star Eater, 1 Omega, triple copies of Herald of the Arclight, then 1 copy of Onimaru, the Divine Thunder. Side deck, we have 2 Lancia, 2 Pankratops, triple copies of Phantasmi, 2 copies of Maxi, 1 Feather Duster, triple copies of Twin Twister, and 2 copies of the Evenly Matched, wrapping up this deck. Could you imagine if the TCG was able to get their hands and play this variant of the deck again? I think it would be a little bit scary, and I don't think players would really get the chance to have a lot of fun in the game, sad as that actually is. Now, the next list we're going to be looking at here is Mystical Beast, basically Endymion, your standard Pendulum variant. But here's the thing with this. We get to abuse Chicken Game. Now, for those of you that don't remember, the player with the lowest life points takes no damage. Once per turn during the main phase, the turn player can pay 1,000 life points to either draw a card, destroy this card, or your opponent gains 1,000 life. And neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Like, this is literally one of the most hilarious cards in existence. And I get it, it's bad for the game, but I don't know, the OCG loves this card. So, we have 1 copy of Astropgraph Sorcerer. The fact that they're even still able to have this card, the Pendulum deck there is in much different variants than what we have here, and I don't know, the big differences do show. We have triple copies of Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic. One copy of the Kai Kendo Spirit. If a monsters is pendulum summoned, you can return this card from the pendulum scale to the hand. It's a super high scale. And when this card is normal summoned, you can choose one card in your pendulum zone, send it to the graveyard. All cards your opponent controls in the same column as that card. And then once returned during the end phase, if this card was normal or flip summon, return this card to the hand. So basically you just have a super high scale. We have triple copies of the Magister of Endymion, one copy of Garuda, one copy, two copy, three copies of Jackal, triple copies of the Jackal King, triple copies of the Master Cerberus himself, two copies of Reflection of Endymion, triple copies of the Servant of Endymion, triple copies of Chicken Game, one copy of Feather Duster, one Magical Citadel of Endymion, two copies of the Mystical Institution, two copies of Pot of Desires, one copy of the Secret Village Spellcasters, one set rotation, triple copies of Spellbook Power Mastery, one Terraforming, and triple copies of our friend Upstart Goblin. Man, the turbo ability here is great. Next check, we have two copies of the Tenyi Master of the Dragon Fist. 2+ monsters, including a link monster, and all the arrows go straight down. It can't be destroyed by a battle with effect monsters. If you control no other effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters in your graveyard and or face up in the field. But the thing we care about here is boop, 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 all good arrows. Then we have one Avermax, one Link Karibo, one Unicorn, one Masquerina, one Electromite, one copy of the Daybreaker, and one copy of Brute Enforcer. And then we have Boral Sword and Borreload Coon, one Appaloosa, one Absolute Dragon, two copies of Starving Supreme Dragon, and one copy of the Ice Vortex Dragon. The side deck here, we have two copies of Denko Rekka, triple copies of Maxi, triple Gamma, and one Driver, a triple MST, one Pendulum Impenetrable, and two copies of Red Reboot, wrapping up our standardized list here. So overall, like this build is, I like this. This is a much different step than what we've seen in the past in diversity and things like that. I don't know, it's cool. I wish we could try cool things like this, but you know, too many chicken games, too many Upstart Goblins. You know, we don't have Astrograph. Like in terms of numbers and diversity, we also don't have, you know, Mr. Contact Fusion FTK enabler here. Last list we have today is Marincess, and I believe that this was one of the dueling one of the videos on YouTube that they usually produce and upload. I believe Lund was telling me that these are usually meme decks, and I was kind of curious about this, just out of straight, I don't know what really comes out of this. So we have Marincess, a little bit different than what I've seen actually. So we have triple copies of Blue Tang, normal special, send a Marincess monster, send to the graveyard's link material, or a water monster, you can activate the top three. It's actually really good. We have triple copies of the Crown Tail, damage calculation. If a monster battles another monster quick effect, and send one other Marincess monster from your hand to the graveyard special, summon this card from your hand, and the damage you take from that battle is halved. At the start of the damage step, an opponent's monster attacks, you can banish this card from your graveyard. You never take battle damage if the amount is less than or equal to the total link rating of all Marincess link monsters in your graveyard. So that's pretty crazy. Like, this card is pretty good for this deck. Triple copies of the Mandarin, two or more Marincess monsters while this card is in your hand or graveyard. You get to target one Water Link monster you control, supposed to summon this card to your zone that monster points to, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it's an extender. Then we have the triple copies of Pakalusi, or Pasacalus. Normal special means special summon one Marincess monster from your hand in defense mode. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, banish it to the graveyard, target Marincess spell and trap card in your graveyard, add it back to the hands. You get recursion off of this. Then we have the triple copies of Seahorse, one copy of Sea Star, triple copies of Signet Mining, one Foolish Barrel, one Feather Duster, two copies of the Marincess Battle Ocean, one Monster Reborn, triple MST, one 1-for-1, one Raigeki, triple Transmodify, and then we have the one Marincess Cascade, one copy of Current, one copy of Snow, triple copies of Wave, two copies of Solemn Strike Extra Deck, one Miss Starboy, two Wonder Heart, two copies of Sea Angel, two Marbled Rock, two Crystal Heart, triple Coral Anemone, and triple copies of Blue Slug, wrapping up this chunk of deck profiles. So guys, what do you think about these decks? please leave a comment down below. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on these, as per always. That's the best part about OCG Thursday. I guess catch you on the flip side. Peace out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.